My name is Angie Mishler, and I am the Director of Student Academic Affairs for the College of Engineering Technology. Today we're going to have a seminar on how to use MyDegree for academic advising. First part, we're going to briefly go over how to get into MyDegree, how to look at worksheets, how to run audits and what-ifs, and then we'll proceed into how to create planners in MyDegree and how to use them for academic advising. I have Jill Gregory in the room. She'll help me walk around and make sure people are logged into the right areas. If we have additional questions, if you keep them towards the end, we'll be able to work with you individually to help you with MyDegree questions you have for your specific programs. First part, to get into MyDegree, it's actually through your MyFSU login. So if I can get everybody to log in to MyFSU. Now, if you're working with a student and you're telling them how they get to MyFSU, they would access that via their Academic Services tab underneath the registration channel. You'll see where it says MyDegree. They would click here. One big thing that students always have issues with, and even faculty and I have issues with at times, you'll click on it, and if it comes up and gives you a blank white screen, that means that you have a pop-up blocker on. If you don't have a pop-up blocker on, you should get an image similar to this. If you do have a pop-up blocker on, it'll be a white screen, and it may say Ferris State across the top, and it'll just show up blank. So you would have to go up and turn off your pop-up blocker and go back in. But this is how the students would access to be able to see their audit sheet, their worksheet, and their curriculum. For you as academic advisors, you can access the same system, but you're going to access it as on the advisor end. You can go to the Faculty Services tab, and underneath the Advising channel, all the way on the right, you'll see an area that says MyDegree for Students. Go ahead and click there. You'll have to pick the term. So we're advising for spring term 2015. Once you get to this stage, you would have to have a student name or ID number to enter. If you just have advisor module, you would want to pick one of your own advisees to enter in. So if you know a student that you know you're going to be working with in the next 2 weeks for advising, go ahead and either type their ID number or name in. If you don't have a student in mind, I have permission to use the following student from him. If you type in Dove Titus and hit return, it should be Titus M. Dove that comes up, and we hit submit, and you should get MyDegree to come up. General overview of MyDegree. This first tab, I have some additional tabs that you may not have as academic advisors. Academic advisors would have the worksheet tab. They would have the planner tab, notes, and GPA. Exception tab is usually done in the dean's office or with departmental secretaries, and that's when we have to put substitutions or waivers in. And that's done by college, by their process and policy. So in MyDegree, has everybody gotten a student or a screen pulled up? Is anybody having issues? Great. Some simple information on how this is laid out. The very top will give you student ID, name, their major, what college they're located in. Often we'll get students that say, I'm a plastics major, and really they're in pre-plastics, or they haven't declared yet. Maybe they're undecided, they're in care, and they want to be in pre-med, but they haven't officially done the program change. So the nice thing about MyDegree is it'll tell you officially via the university what they are actually enrolled in, okay? If a student is a dual major, up here at the top, there's a toggle switch on Titus because Titus has an associate's degree and a bachelor's degree declared. The only time you will get a toggle switch is if they are enrolled in 2 different degrees, such as an associate's and a bachelor's, or 2 different bachelors, like a Bachelor of Arts and a Bachelor of Science. If they're in 2 Bachelor of Science degrees, you will not get an option to switch between. It'll all load in below, okay? Other things you'll see on here, their classification based on credits. If they have assigned advisors and who the advisors are. This actually is a live email link, so students can click on that and email their advisor directly. It shows their overall GPA. It also has a disclaimer on here. It also has a legend to explain to students what it means. Another area to really pay attention to is academic catalog year. We all know that in order to follow a certain curriculum, it's based on the year that you declared the major. So if a student didn't come in as a CAD student, but they came in as general studies and then moved, the year that they moved should be the year that's listed, even though they might have been in school a year previous. Overall GPA, credits they have, credits that are applied. It starts out with general admission or general graduation requirements at the top. So if you have a requirement of a 2.0 GPA, it'll say that it's there. Titus has it there, he has a 2.0 plus, he has a green check mark. If it requires the freshman seminar, if he's met all of the general education requirements, if they met all of the major requirements. Each sub area should have, I'm going to switch to his bachelor's degree because it'll show some more. And it's running an audit. Anytime you switch, it's pulling everything from Banner to be live fed. So you can see here for bachelor's degrees, he has 2 declared majors. He's got a healthcare administration major and a pre-nursing. So then when we scroll down, you'll see, oh, wait a minute, his gen eds aren't full anymore. Check boxes are done, Tilldales are in progress. So it's pulling live, he's currently enrolled in this. He's missing these scientific understanding courses for that said major. He's missing a cultural enrichment. The nice thing about this form and for students, when they're going along, if we have specific classes listed to meet the requirements, the information will be there. If you go down to an area that has listed classes like this, you can actually put your mouse over it. It'll pull up the name. If you actually click on it, it'll drive right out to the catalog entry. If it's on the books in Banner live for that next semester, it'll pull up. This is when it's being taught. And a new feature that has been added is if they're coming to talk to you and said, hey, I want to possibly take this class in the summer somewhere else, we now have any transfer equivalency that we have built into the Ferris transfer database pulls up. So students can look and said, okay, I was going to go to Lake Michigan College for the summer. Do they have German 101? Yep, I scrolled down. Hey, Lake Michigan College. If they are teaching the foreign language 111, it could come in as German 101. And the reason why they say may equate on here is if that's an old code, they don't teach it anymore at that school. That's why we would use the word may. We need to make sure the students reaffirm that they actually are teaching that course at that school with that code. Okay? So, worksheet. Anytime something new has been entered, to run an audit, when you automatically pull up a student, it's run an audit. It'll pull everything from Banner, push it against their worksheet, and show you where they're at. If you were talking with a student and they said, hey, I'm missing my transfer credits, all of you should have, and I apologize because this screen is not set up to see it, over here on the left-hand side, do you guys see a little circle with arrows on your screen in front of you? If you want to update because you know new information was put in, like testing called you and said they just took a CLEP test, they're getting these credits, we just entered the information, it uploads once a day around 6 in the morning. If something new was put in, if you hit that circle, it'll automatically pull the data for that student fresh into MyDegree. So go ahead and hit that refresh button, and what you'll notice is up here where it says last refreshed, if you guys hit your button, it'll say the time and date that you refreshed it. The other thing you might want to do then is once you've refreshed it, is you hit process new, it will run a fresh audit with the new information that it brought in. Okay? Another nice feature to this side is class history. I know some colleges like to see semester by semester because they build sequence guides based on semesters. Class history is nice because it'll show you semester by semester what the student took and what grade they got and what credits they received. So go ahead and click up on the top, class history, and it'll give you, if you have a student that has multiple semesters with us, it'll pull that up. If they're in their first semester, it'll just show one semester, and most likely it says all in progress. Okay. The other nice thing about this page is if you ever place notes on a student's file, it automatically generates on the very first page. So if you have action steps for the student that you want them to do something, they have access to this. So you could see back in the day, I was Titus's academic advisor, and I told him, advised to register for courses listed on Planner, has flexibility on his cultural enrichment class. It puts my name on there and it puts the date on there. So if you have action steps, student is advised to go to the Educational Career Counseling Center for career assessments. You could put it on there, it gets your name on there, it dates it, and the student can't come back and say, what did we talk about? I don't remember. You have that, and it's right on their record for them to see. Anything you put on note-wise, the student can see because this is their record, okay? We're gonna move on to the planner page. This is the page that is the most useful, I feel, for advisors, especially if you want to keep track of what you've told them, give them access to it. If you want them to be part of the conversation, they can actually put in their own planner, and you can have your own planner in, and then you guys can compare. I really push for the students to have ownership of their academic plan so they understand what they should be doing every semester. It's nice that if we can line it all out for them, but sometimes if they have the opportunity to build it, they're more apt to follow it. So how Planner tab works. This is 4 quadrants. The left-hand side should look really familiar to you guys. It's exactly the same as the first page, the worksheet page. This is movable. So if you've got a small screen and you need more space, you can move things like this. Also down here, the what if feature. And then this is the action module is what I would call it, the action buttons down here. If you're in a student that you've never done a planner for and the student hasn't been in there playing, doing their own planners, it should look similar to this. It should have their worksheet on one side, it should have a blank planner space over here. What I would recommend, the first step always is you have to put a description in. So normally I would do something like pre-pharmacy completion plan or CAD completion plan and put a year that we plan on having them complete by 2006. For this situation, I'm gonna put test in there because he knows if he sees test to ignore it. You have to name it. If it's a new student coming to you and they have a new curriculum, you might want to change the catalog year. So it's test completion for this year. This side, good standard practice, there's 3 columns. Always leave each column for the semester, so fall, spring, summer. MyDegree is very literal. It will not let you put semesters out of sequence. So if you start going fall, spring, fall, spring, fall, spring, and then all of a sudden the student has an UPI and they want to take a class in the summer, you have to move everything to put the summer in. So good standard practice is you always put a fall semester in. So fall, spring, summer, and then you go down. You have a couple options to be able to fill in this side. It reads right from Banner. So it will only let you put things in that it can match up with in Banner. So knowing the 4-digit code and the number is important. If you're good at typing and you know your curriculum frontwards, sideways, backwards, so MEC, you know all the classes are MEC 111, you could type your classes in. The other option is you can actually drag and drop from the other side. So let's say for this fall, Titus wanted to take this honors history class. I could drag, drop, it automatically fills it in, you're not going to have any issue. But then I decided he's going to take English. English is a 4-digit code, ENGL, but I'm just going to type in ENG, and he's going to take English 250. When I go to save this plan, it's always going to ask, do you want it saved, and if there's more than one plan. But if there's an issue, it's going to bark at you. It's going to give you a signal, hey, there's something wrong. The computer can't match it up. So I hit OK, and you can see oh, wait a minute, there's something wrong, what happened? Well, I forgot the L. So if you're a drag and drop and you don't want to worry, I would drag and drop. If you know your stuff, you could type it. The other nice thing is you don't have to know the number of credits. It automatically pulls from Banner. Because I've done that where you get going and you move something around and it was a 5 credit hour class, but now it's a 4 credit hour class. If the credits are wrong, it'll bark at you also. So if you leave the credits open and hit save, it'll automatically pull it from Banner. If you have flexibility, and let's say he has to take a cultural enrichment, but you don't want to dictate which cultural enrichment, the dash is a wild card. So dash, space, and then whatever you want to write in there. Keep in mind it's limited. I want to say you have about 15 characters that you could put in there. So I could say cultural enrichment. In that situation, you would have to put how many credits you recommend because the system won't be able to match it up because you use the wild card. So, okay. Now, another nice feature of the planner. If you work with your departments, you can actually load templates in. So for some of the programs like in College of Technology, you guys have your course sequence guides that lies out the next 4 years. And if a student comes in with nothing done, if they follow that roadmap, they're good to go. So each college has different processes, but you can work through your college and have a predefined plan loaded. So I'm going to load a new one and just sort of show you. If you have a brand new plan in there, you can actually hit load predetermined plans, and I'm going to clear all of this and I'm going to search all of them just to show you how many are out there so far. Now this is the brand new school year, so some people might not have put their new templates out, but a lot of them have. So you can see there are multiple templates out there already built for certain programs. So I'm going to load business administration just to sort of show you how this works. So I clicked on business administration, I'll tell it to load. And what it'll do is if there's a pre-built plan out there, it'll load it in. And it's what they built. So they've got a 4-year plan built out there based on their curriculum. Okay. The other nice thing about this, and if you guys look at the information we gave you a booklet that has a lot of things that I'm talking about that you can go back through. But the last big booklet that you guys got, it says Planner What If How To. If a student wants to change their major, you can run a what if in the other side for a different major. But another nice thing is you can actually take your planner and push it against the check sheet and see if you've got everything planned appropriately. So if you go down to the action buttons and click all terms and then process new, what it's going to do is it's going to take all the information for over on the planner and push it back against the student's check sheet. So once this comes up, you're going to see, and let's hope there's something that works here. Okay. Because I had a totally different major trying to push against a totally different major, you're going to see a little bit less matching up. But you're going to see here, hey, it says Management 301 planned for fall. So I know I have it in the planner and it meets a requirement there. In this situation, because it was 2 different majors, anything that didn't match up, if we accidentally put something in there that they don't need to take, it's going to fall down to the bottom for additional classes. So you can see everything we planned in there, how it's pushing over. Okay. One thing I forgot to show you on the front page on worksheets is if you get a student that comes in and says, okay, I'm in your major, but I want this minor, or I want a second major, or I want to change majors. You can direct the student out to MyDegree. Instead of sending them across campus to the dean's offices to go get the paper check sheet to hand enter everything on there to see how their classes transfer, they actually can run what is called a what if. So, all of you have a student pulled up? Go ahead and click on what if. And today, all of your students have decided there's going to be a mass exodus and they're all going to declare survey, the bachelor's degree of survey engineering, as their major. So to run a what if, you have to go to the degree area. That's a Bachelor of Science. And then it should pull up all Bachelor of Sciences available at the university. So then we're going to scroll down and we're going to go grab survey engineering. But he decided he wants to be a survey engineer that has really good communication skills. So he wants the minor in communication. So you can pick the minor and add it over here. So you can see the areas that are chosen. There are two ways to run this report. If you want it in a interactable form where you can actually highlight the classes and see what classes they still have left to do, you run the process what if. If you want it in a good printable version where you could just hand it to the student and say, here's your information, here's the contact person, go talk with them, you can run it as a save PDF. You can either save it and email it to them, or you can print it off and hand it to them. It's in a lot cleaner, nicer state than trying to print it from the other screen. So if you guys hit the what if, process what if on the regular, I just did it on the PDF to sort of show you what the difference looks like. So you could see it says, hey, the major survey with a minor in communications. And you scroll down and it's taken what classes the student has taken and applied it to the new check sheet. And it shows what they have left to accomplish. It also will show, hey, all these other classes that you took, they're here, but they don't apply directly to that specific program. Okay. So I'm going to process it in the other way so you guys can see just the difference. So here, again, it shows the different program. Although his declared major is still up here at the top, it shows the what if scenario down here. Also in the planner, I'm flipping back to planner now. If you have a student that's declared with you, but they wanted to also add their minor and you want to make sure your planner is hitting both, you can actually run that what if over on that left-hand side of the screen by using this module down here. Say use what if. He wants the Bachelor of Science in survey. And the other nice tip is if you're in a menu like this, if you type really quick, it'll pop you down. So you'll scroll down there, and then you can check all terms, process new, and what it'll do is on that left-hand side, it'll have the what-if scenarios in there. So when you're helping them build their planner, so if they have not officially declared their minor, because how many of you have had students come in and say, I'm minoring in this, but you can't find it anywhere? It's because they haven't officially declared it. You can actually pull it up and help with that information if you need to. So again, you'll see the planned information is falling in there. All right. Final tab I wanted to go over with you. Notes. Advising is great. If you give students action steps, documenting those action steps so students remember is even better. Also for you as a faculty member, if you've got 30, 40 advisees, as much as we want to say we're going to remember everything we told our students to do, it's nice to have the breadcrumbs here for them to see and you to see. So this gives you the opportunity to add notes. There are predefined notes. Keep in mind, anything you place on this record is public information. So keep it straight to the point, keep it action steps. Don't put in there, talked about this student because their boyfriend broke up with them and they were a wreck and they need to go do counseling. I don't have a license to declare that they have to have specific diagnosis. So make sure that general information, if they said, hey, I want to look at my major, it's okay to put on there referred student to ECDS. Or student had concerns, referred student to Berkham. It's okay to put general statements like that, but don't put a lot of detail in there. Because again, this goes out on the student's document, they're going to see it, but also anything you write is subpoenable for further if there is a situation. Okay? So if you stick to the predefined notes, it's pretty easy. Advise students to register for classes listed on planner. And I also told them to apply for graduation by the official deadline. And you can save the note when you run the new audit. It'll show up down at the very bottom of their worksheet with that information. So if you get students calling saying, what was that I was supposed to do again? You can say, hey, go out to MyDegree. It's on the planner across the bottom. That is MyDegree in a nutshell. MyDegree is still in its infancy. It started in 2010, but it got rolled out in 6 months. And typically schools can take up to 4 years to roll out this product to make sure it's like spot on. So we are still finding minor issues and concerns in there. In your packets that you picked up from the front or from the back, there is a list of contact names in there. So if you do find something in MyDegree that doesn't jive with your curriculum, or there's a typo, I've been finding typos. I just found that we had Architecture 101 versus Arts 101 listed for a cultural enrichment for the architecture program, so we had to clean that up. Make sure you communicate with your appropriate person with your college so we can get it working even better. So thank you for coming to the lecture part of this. Now I'd like to turn this into a working session and work with you individually to address any needs or concerns or questions about MyDegree and help you work this into your advising plans.